It's time for the Creator Town Hall here on Studio Live today. I hope you're doing well on this one. We're going to be talking all about about live streaming. That's our feature topic of the day. I also want to ask you, has marketing and merch and apps and gear taken over artistic creativity when it comes to music? I'd like your opinion. It's a great point of discussion that's happening over on the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. And we've got your questions. So if you are here live and you have any questions, all you need to do is put the word question at the start of your comment. I'll then know it's a question and I'll try to answer that question for you. We've also got a poll happening here on the show as well. And we're going to go through what's happening over the weekend because we've got a big weekend of live shows here on Studio Live today. So I hope you're well. Whether you're watching on the replay or watching here live, I hope you're doing well. Please leave your comments, leave your feedback. And if you have fun here tonight or this morning or this afternoon or wherever it is in your part of the world, thumbs up is always a good thing. So we'll dive into the live streaming stuff in a moment and we'll say good day to the folks who are here live as well. I wanted to clue you into something before we get too far into the show here, and that is that myself and the one and only Jade Star, we will be on Mike Enjo over at Creative Source. His show is coming up. There it is. Fix My Mix. So this could be interesting. We've never done a show quite like this before. Normally, Mike's show Featured Artist Live is all about actual songs that have been completed. But the show tomorrow is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be more about the uncompleted songs. And we all know that the old fix it in the mix is not something that exists. Like you can't fix something in the mix. But we're going to talk about how we can improve upon mixes and how we can get a better sound and maybe some better, not even better necessarily, but our ideas for mixes. So that should be a lot of fun. So make sure you jump on over there, join myself and Mike and Jade over on that one. I'm trying something new as well here tonight. So I thought, I'm talking about live streaming. I'm going to try doing the Creator Town Hall using OBS as well as StreamYard here tonight. So if things go a little bit haywire, I'm going to blame my tools. No. I'm not really. A good tradesperson doesn't blame their tools. We're going to be fine here. But it's all good. It's all under control. Hello to Jade Star, who we're just talking about. Hello, Gregory O'Sullivan, who's here. Hello, Bass Car Check. I hope you are all good and fine and dandy and doing well. So, feature of live streaming is coming up, but a really cool discussion is happening over on the Create, Record, Release Facebook group at the moment. And look, if you're not a member of the Create, Record Facebook group, you can jump over there. We've got over 1,000 members, all very, very cool people hanging out there, sharing their views, sharing their songs, sharing their mixes, and just having a good old time generally. So if you're not already a member of Create, Record, Release, head over to createrecordrelease.com. It'll take you straight to the Facebook group. And I know some of you may not be Facebook fans, and I hear you, but just join up. Just join up just so that you can join the Create, Record, Release group because it's a good old time. There's a lot of folks there, and if you've ever joined a forum or a community where you're like, I just wish that people would focus more on the creativity in music and not so much on all the other banter and bringing people down. There is no bringing people down. There's a lot of very cool people over there. So do go ahead. I do recommend you join the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. All right, let's crack on because we're going to talk today about live streaming. Exactly what I'm doing here. Why, as a creator, why would you want to live stream your music or any sort of behind the scenes stuff? Well, there's a few reasons. I'm going to go through 10 tips for live streaming, but I'm also going to talk a bit generally here up front about why you would want to live stream. And it really helps you engage with an audience. And you might be saying, but I don't have an audience. But what you're going to add to that is I don't have an audience yet. When I started live streaming, I was live streaming to myself. I was live streaming to 1 or 2 people at a time. And now, depending on the show, I can live stream to 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 people. But the skills that you learn are really, really handy, and you can actually have that better level of engagement with people than you can even just putting a video out. Now, if you're a musician, if you're creating music, if you're creating music videos, you'd be actually really surprised how many people dig your stuff. And there are so many musicians that I just wish would do more live streaming. All of my favorite artists, my favorite bands, my favorite musicians, if they were doing a Q&A live stream or a behind the scenes or a backstage or a live concert, whatever, and ask me anything, yeah, you better believe I'd be there with bells on. So before you get famous, start learning Start learning about live streaming now, and then you'll be all good to go. Hello to Clayton Von Kluge. I hope you are doing well. And yeah, you can go ahead and join there. Jade's dropped the link there for the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. And hello to Bo Few GarageBand covers. See, this is the thing. Bo's doing GarageBand covers. Live streaming might be a great way for you to talk about how you do your GarageBand covers. I do that sort of stuff. I've got my current GarageBand song that I'm working on right here. I'm doing live streams while I create. And, that might not be everyone's bag, but it's a lot of fun for me to do. And people are finding it interesting behind the scenes. Clayton Von Clue says, seems that everyone is gravitating towards live streams in music and so many other things. I've been thinking about doing some kind of thing for a few years now. Yeah, and maybe if you are thinking about it, maybe now is the time to jump in and give it a go. But here's the tips that I have. So here's what I wanted someone to sit down and tell me when I first started out. These are the 10 live streaming tips that I think will help you if you are starting on your journey. Number one is have a purpose. Now, this is part of my Creator Town Hall, which is more of a variety kind of show where we talk about a bunch of different things. But having a purpose, especially when you start out, is important. Why are you streaming? What are you going to provide? Give your stream a title. Like if you just say it's a hang, well, that's cool. You're hanging out, you're doing a thing. But the last thing you want to do is be sitting there going, oh, what do I say now? What do I talk about? What do I ask? What do I do? So having a purpose up front is pretty important. So just start out, if you're a music creator or if you're a creative type, it doesn't have to be anything difficult. Your purpose might simply be, I'm going to teach a thing. And live stream teaching type videos are actually pretty good. I'm going to show you a cool hack for GarageBand, or I'm going to show you a cool trick that I use when I'm mixing my song, or a cool EQ tip that I use. So having a purpose up front is always a good idea. Number two, have a plan. So why is a plan different from a purpose? Well, your purpose might be, I'm going to teach you something about GarageBand. Your plan is then, okay, I'm going to start by saying hello. I'm then going to tell what the purpose is. I'm then going to say hello to people really quickly. And then I'm going to dive straight into the content. Because if you're sitting there 15, 20 minutes into a show and people still don't know what's going on, why they're there, and what you're actually going to tell them about, that can be challenging. That's something that might not work out for folks. And number three is to keep it short. Says the man who does 1 hour plus live streams most of the time. But especially when you're starting out, keep it short. Like, I've made a mistake. So I do a show called Your Music Live, and I do it for 2 hours a week. And it's taken me a while to work up to being able to do a 2 hour live stream. However, when I started out, I was only doing 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maximum 30 minutes until I reached that. And what I found is as soon as I go up to 2.5 hours to 3 hours, my energy level goes down, the energy level of those watching goes down, and it just doesn't work so well. So keeping it short, or at least keeping it on track and keeping it timely, I think is pretty handy. And the same thing goes if you're doing a music stream. So I do a happy hour, and yeah, sometimes I sneak into an hour and 10 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes, but I've tried to do like a 2 hour live music stream, and everyone's kind of over it by about the hour mark. So find the time that's going to work for you, but usually shorter is better. Avoiding dead air. Now, this is funny because I was watching, there's a show on here in Australia called The Chase. Is The Chase an international thing? I think it is. So The Chase is like a quiz show, but instead of like Jeopardy or Sale of the Century or one of those sort of old school quiz shows, there is legitimately, I counted it today, 4 seconds of dead air between when they give the answer and then when they tell them. So it'll be, how many legs does a spider have? And it'll be like 6, 8, or 12. And the person's like, firstly, they tell their life story. They're like, well, once squished a spider and it was crawling on my back patio and my daughter was there, so I'm going to go 8. And then they're like, that is correct. It's like, yay. And I'm like, what? Okay, suspense, fair enough, but whew, it's rough. Like I don't think any of the TikTok generation will be watching these shows because they'll just be like, just tell me the freaking answer, come on. So avoiding dead air like that is a good idea. Does that mean you should fill things with ums and ahs and gibberish? Well, no, but that will come in time. But again, if you have your purpose and you have your plan, then avoiding dead air can definitely be an easy thing to do. Don't forget to consider your viewer, and that is you. So making sure that whatever you're delivering is going to be something that people are interested in. So the reason I'm talking about live streaming tonight is that a lot of folks have been asking me about live streaming. They've been saying, I want to get into live streaming, but I'm too nervous. I want to get into live streaming, but I think the tech's too hard. I want to get into live streaming, but I don't know what to say. I don't think I'd be any good at it. All of those things are valid and relevant, and hopefully when you hear this list and hopefully when you see that, hey, old man Johns can do it, then basically anyone can. But you do have to consider, who is your content for? Who is going to be the viewer? Who is the person at the end of there that's actually there? And part of that is being interactive, which is number 6 here. So the reason that we have the ability to do things like this is to go, hey, Guzzo. Guzzo avoids dead air by never turning on the TV. That is a great way to avoid dead air and a great way to avoid Larry Emger. Sorry, that's an Australian TV presenter joke. Replace that with Ant and Dex if you're in the UK, and replace it with, not Regis Philbin, because unfortunately he's passed, but whoever your American person who hosts everything guy is. Yeah, absolutely. Adrenaline enthusiast. At Jadestar. Yeah, adrenaline enthusiast. Nothing wrong with a bit of adrenaline. It does, like, gets your blood pumping when you're doing live streaming. It is an adrenaline kick. So it does actually help you. And the more you do it, like anything, it's like a muscle. The more you use your live streaming muscle, the better you're going to get. Number 7, consider the replay value of what you're putting out there. So I realized that of the 100 or 200 people that will watch this video, the vast majority will do that on the replay. There's a few folks that are hanging out here live. It's a weird time that we do this show, and I've already done a live stream today. So it's a bit of a weird one. But that doesn't mean that there's not many of you that are getting up, eating your cornflakes and having your coffee in the US and Canada. And hello, I'm waving to you. Hello, person in the US drinking your coffee, because you're watching it in the morning after. So keeping in mind that there are people that are going to watch on the replay and not doing the things that unfortunately I did and many people do when they start out, which is sitting here and reading the chat and responding to it, but not actually telling people what you're doing here. So I could say, oh, hi there. But instead, I'll say, hey, Brian's here in the chat. Hey, Brian, I hope you're doing well. Brian says, good afternoon. So having that sort of talk is going to help out, because people that are here watching the replay, they don't know who's here. They don't know what the conversation is that's going on. Tip number 8 is to practice to nobody. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, every live streaming setup that you can use, you can do a live stream to just yourself. If you're on Facebook and you're going live, look, even if you're just using your mobile phone and you want to do like a Facebook Live, or you want to do an Instagram Live, you can set the privacy of that to private or just myself. So there's everyone, there's public, there's your friends, there's smaller groups, and then there is completely private, which means you're only streaming to yourself. And that is a great way to practice. Just like you wouldn't go out there and play a live gig unless you've done a bunch of rehearsing, you shouldn't really go out there live streaming until you've tried and you've practiced on your own. And once you've done that a few times, you'll have got yeah, does it feel super weird to be talking to yourself? Yeah, but hey, I'm talking to myself. I'm in a quiet room surrounded by no one, talking to myself right now, really, except that the magic internet goblins are taking all of that, going and sending it out there into the ether. So yeah, it is weird, but it is a good way to get started. Don't forget, it is less, like music, it is less about your gear, it is less about having the best camera, the best microphone, the best setup, and more about your content. Do you need to look okay and sound okay? Do people need to hear what you're saying and be able to actually see the content you're presenting? Yeah, they do. However, it is so much more important that it's actually interesting stuff, that it's actually things that people want to hear about, because, I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I've watched a bunch of live streams that look amazing. They've got assets flying in from left and right. They've got sound effects. They've got the whole kit and caboodle, and nothing's happening. They're spending all of their time worrying about how it looks. Oh, I've got my DSLR camera set up there and I've color balanced and matched everything. That's great. What do you got to say? I would actually rather see someone talking into their phone and having a good conversation than all the bells and whistles. Does it mean you can't get involved with the gear and improve it as you go? No, of course you can. But the content has to be there. If the content isn't there, like a good song, as I've always said, a crap song recorded in $1 million studio is still a crap song. A great song recorded on an iPhone is still a great song. If you can record it in $1 million studio, great. Then it might be an epic song, the best song ever. But don't lose sleep over the gear. Content is king. And last but not least, have some fun. Like, enjoy what you do and do it if you enjoy it. I say this to my kids all the time, but if you're doing something that you want to do for enjoyment and you're not having fun, if you're more miserable after you've done it than before, maybe reconsider. Maybe it's not your bag. Maybe it's not the sort of thing that you should be doing. However, the big caveat with that is the first time you do it. Jade Starr says this best. She says, I try everything 3 times because the first time you might mess it up. The second time you might be doing it with the wrong person, or in this case, the wrong gear or the wrong setup. And then the third time, if it sucks and then it sucks and then it sucks even more, yeah, maybe it's not for you. But if you've never tried it, you just don't know. And if you try it once and you fail, guess what? You probably will. Did you write a song? Was your first song an epic song? Probably not. Is the first time you go live going to be an absolute polished, shining beacon of light to all live streaming? Probably not. Is it going to be a train wreck? Probably not either. The thing is, things are rarely as good or as bad as we think they are. They're usually somewhere in between. We do get a little bit too hung up on making sure things are super good or super bad. They're usually somewhere in between. That's the way it goes. So there you go. There is some streaming tips to get us started here. I thought it'd be fun just to go through that and talk streaming for a little while. Exactly. The third time is a charm. Indeed. So let's take a day and see what folks have to say here. And I did want to put it out there if anyone does have their opinions on that. I've got the poll going here. If you're here on the replay, you won't be able to answer the poll, but leave your comments. Let me know. Where is music now? And look, it's been an interesting conversation. I'll just have a quick sip. And then I'll continue the conversation because it was Mirek over at the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. And he asked this question. Has music become more apps and merch than music? Has art in general become simply produce? Yeah. Is it a product? Is the product more important than the music? Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story. Yes, it's story time with old man John. So gather around the couch, kiddies. But I'm going to tell you a story because, and again, I'm not going to name names, and I don't hold any grudges, and I don't dislike anyone else. If you do you, really, you do you. If you're happy with what you're doing, then go ahead. But here's the thing. When I first started getting into this, I started creating content for YouTube and started doing Facebook videos and started getting educational content out there. I found this subgroup that's all around a few things. It's all around creating courses, all around creating click funnels, and all around creating false scarcity for digital products. Now, these are 3 things that I just really don't like. And it was weird because I actually got into this sort of, not secret club, that makes it sound a bit weird, but I was invited along to talk to a few folks on a couple of occasions to talk to them about their music creation journey. And I'm like this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed youngster. Okay. I was this inexperienced person, and I'm talking to these folks that I look up to. And we talked for like hours and hours. And I got to the end of it and I thought that was a really interesting business discussion about the music industry and about the content creation industry. I don't know what instruments they play. I don't know what song they're working on at the moment. Have they checked out a cool new record that I should listen to? There was very little music. It could have been, you could have pulled music out of that and replaced it with sausage manufacturing. And it could have been the same thing. Okay, maybe not sausages, but any other thing, any other educational thing. So yeah, a lot of us are doing music education. We're teaching people music, but the whole courses, creating courses and launching courses and creating this false scarcity around these digital products that we sell, doing a click funnel where at first it's $99, then it's $49, then it's $9.99, getting people in on a loss leader, which means giving away a free product to gain people's email address so that then you can market to them later. Yeah, I do have a bit of a problem with that, but I would be a super major mega hypocrite if I didn't say that part of what I do, because this is my livelihood, is not related to the business aspect of creating content and therefore creating music. So I like to think that I'm able to balance and to try and keep it real in terms of I want to keep making music. And the main reason that I committed in 2022 to do a song a month, which 27th of January, I got this song. I'll show it to you later. I'm working on this song. I've crammed in the last 2 days because I want to get that done. I don't want to ever get to the point where I'm sitting there and instead of making music, instead of chatting to you in the community, instead of doing these live shows, I'm sitting and crunching numbers on spreadsheets. Because you know what I can do? Go and get a corporate job. If I want to earn a decent salary, crunch your numbers in a spreadsheet, guess what? Been there, done that. If I want to market to people and work out the best way to get ClickFunnels and marketing spends and all the rest of it, guess what? I can go and work in a corporate gig again. Doesn't mean I'm not going to do anything like that because, again, you got to pay the bills. You got to keep the lights on. But there's got to be a balance in there, in my humble opinion. And again, that's not to talk out of school about anyone and anyone that wants to do anything. There are some people that are in music more for the business than they are for the music. Is that bad? Well, no. There's people that are landscape gardeners that don't even care about landscape gardening. But guess what? They're really good at it and people pay them to do it. Is that a bad thing? No, not really. If they can go home at night, they maybe have a garden that they don't care about at home, but they're amazing landscape gardeners. I say all that to say that I actually think that it's divided. I actually think that there are kind of two ways, and then there's some of us that sit on the fence in the middle, because I sit on the fence. That there are, yeah, music is very, very commercial because there's a lot of money in music. Well, there's less than there was. There's a lot of people that are chasing the money. They're chasing the dream. They're chasing the fame. They're selling the merch and they're selling the tickets and they're selling the NFTs. Didn't even scrape the surface of NFTs. But then there is this underbelly of passionate folks. There's these communities. There's these uprising. There's the Warts. We all rise together. There's the Create, Record, Release mob. There's people over on Thomas Christ's channel and Ron's channel, the GarageBand users Facebook group. There is this uprising of people that just want to create good music, hang out with cool people in cool communities, and share a love and a joy for genuinely good music. So I think that if you look in the right places, you'll find the right things. Just like everything in life, and especially just like everything on the internet, you can find what you're looking for. If you look hard enough in the exact place that you know it's going to be, you'll find the exact people in the community and the answers that you're looking for. That's what I think, anyway. That's my 2 cents. That's me. What is it? That Peter Griffin thing that he did. That's what grinds my gears, right? There you go. They say if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. I seem to work a lot. Yeah, and look, I worked a lot for 25 years. Not that I disliked my job, but I certainly wasn't super passionate about it. So we'll see. It's always just one button. Exactly. There you go. You love the polls? Just one button away. There you go. Jay says, I have a Wart episode planned for the morning about friends and barely have a plan, but I know what I want to say, so it's all fine. Yeah. And that's the thing. What I should have said at the start of those tips is that you may take on board 1, 2, 10, or none of them. You may do things completely differently. And I'm not saying everyone has to be cookie cutter, because I just said the exact opposite. I don't think everyone should be cookie cutter. But if you're struggling, or if you just wanted some ideas before you go and start, that's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing. See you at GBU Live after Pete's show. Is GBU Live tonight? Hang on, what is it? Thursday night. I've lost track. Ron, help me out, mate. I've lost track. I thought your shows are tomorrow during the day, my time. I could be wrong. But it might be after Mike's show tomorrow. Let me know. Hey, Dave Fox. Hello, Kinora Music. I hope you're well. Gregory says, Pete cornered me into writing a song. No way I'm going to fall for this live streaming stuff. Conned me, sorry. Yeah, the song temper stuff. I force everyone to make songs. But the majority, look, some people did a song temper song and then they're like, yeah, I never want to do that again. But they tried. And other people have been with me the last 3 years and are now creating lots of songs on their own. So I think that's kind of cool. There are a lot of sausages. There's a lot of sausages on the internet, especially in some places. Yeah. Creating false scarcity around your music is a clever tactic over releasing too much music or overplaying gigs. Yeah, look, and when I say false scarcity, Jay, I'm not even talking about, I think you're right. I think you can release music and make it special and make it, I don't even mind the whole, it's probably just my mindset because the cryptocurrency and the NFT thing has pissed me off so much recently, and all the courses and all the launches of courses and all that false scarcity of digital products. Yeah, I don't think that you should just be cranking out a song a week just because you want to have content. But I think that the false scarcity that I don't like is when you've got a digital product and you prevent people or you limit that, or you make it seem like a time-limited offer. And unless it's part of your marketing. And like I said at the very start of that big rant, if that's what folks are doing and you're comfy with it, then you do you. And again, as long as you're not in my email every day with your automated chain, with your, hi Pete, it's me again. I'm like, no, it's not you again. It's your automated email chain. then that's what I don't dig. But again, I'm just venting my spleen here. Jade has half finished the drums. There you go. Well, I'll play you what we've got at the moment, and then tomorrow we'll be continuing that song because I'm going to talk about my transition here in a moment to using OBS for live streaming. And let me know, is it working? Am I coming through okay? It all looks good at my end, but I never quite know. Let's see if we've got any other comments here. Are you saying that there are two ways that you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the roads you're on? Yeah, I think so. I think there's always one of the best things about living in the future is I think we've got a lot more opportunity. And yeah, if you just look under the right rocks, as Ron says, the right rocks. See what he did there? Then yeah, there is a lot more opportunity to do different things. And look, not everyone's going to make a career. Did I think I was going to make a career out of music? No. Am I confident that I'll be able to do this forever? Not necessarily, but I'm going to try. And I wouldn't have been able to do it 10 years ago, that's for true. So yeah, there we go. Got to put food on the table, but some are more than happy to be commercially minded. I agree with the balance as I'm about to start my own YouTube channel. There you go. There you go. Gal's got to eat. Yeah, exactly. And spot on. And that's why, again, I'd be a super mega hypocrite because, guess what? My Your Music Live show is brought to you by DistroKid. You can go to the Studio Live Today Gear Guide and use my affiliate links. Yeah, you do got to pay the bills. But one thing that's not for sale, like if someone came to me with an NFT or a crypto coin, you're not going to see, welcome to Studio Live Today, brought to you by Dogecoin 2.0, the better Dogecoin. It just won't happen because if I don't believe in the product or the service, I ain't put my name to it. I'm very selective about who I promote and what I actually talk about, whereas others are going to just go all in. Yeah, I need to set up my drum kit. I just have no space for it. Ron's on at 10 p.m. He put it back a day, so it's on tonight. Woohoo! There you go. Yeah, Bitcoin crashed big time, so more will topple. Yeah, and that's the other part of false scarcity. I think that what a lot of people don't realize, or not don't realize, but don't think about with a lot, and I'm going to get way off track here, but whenever it comes to cryptocurrency or NFTs or Bitcoin or any of that sort of stuff, whilst it's a whole new world and it's very different, it's actually not that different. Because if you know anything about Forex, like foreign currency trading and exchanging, or selling and buying and selling shares, it's a net loser game. So for you to quote unquote win, there have to be people that lose. And the only real winners are the people that are actually getting the money, or the people that are running the companies that are actually making the profits and then, divvying them off. Or if you're owning shares and getting dividends paid in a company. So there's a few exceptions to that. But when it's purely that you're minting these coins for them to exist, for you to then buy speculatively, so that when they go up in price, which means that more people are selling them, that are losing out on that money, and then you can sell them, so that other people that bought them high, they then go down in value, so that when they sell them, they're lower. Like, that is a zero-sum game, or worse than that, it's actually a negative game. And worse than that, all the energy usage that goes into that makes it a double negative-sum game. So if you as the individual, and this is where I think people miss out on this, it's not just about your ability. Like, if you've got an NFT out there and you're like, cool, I'll make these NFTs, I'll sell them for $100, and then when they're worth $120, I'll sell them off then. I'll buy someone's NFT and then I'll sell it off. You're really just selling it. And look, I know it's the same as real stuff. Like if you've got an artwork or a painting, it does the same sort of thing. It's all just increasing value. And if people want it badly enough, then they'll pay for it. So I don't know my point there, but we'll go. We'll just continue on there. It is good to vent. I enjoy a good vent. There you go. From Wednesday to Thursday. So seasonal parties here in Saigon. That is fine. And Indie Live is still tomorrow. So you're doing like me now, Ron. You're unstoppable. No one can stop the Ron Ward machine. OBS operates bad sometimes. Yeah, we'll find out, because it seems to be okay. It definitely is a lot better than what I was using before, which is Reflector. So we'll go into that in a moment, because I'm going to talk about it as my next thing here. Hello, Derek Smith, contemplating a new career, and it's probably online, but no idea what to try. Yeah, there's a lot of options out there, Derek, in terms of what you can try. And look, it can be challenging. It's actually challenging because it's daunting in how many things you can do. But I think the key thing is finding something that you like that there is a market for, that you're passionate enough about, that you're going to want to keep creating content, not necessarily content, but keep creating things for. And for me, I mean, I've thought about everything and I've dabbled in all sorts of things. I did eBay selling for a while. I never went down the whole e-commerce route because I thought that was a bit dodgy, like the whole sort of Shopify thing, or being in doing Amazon. What do they call it? Like I forgot the name of it, but the drop shipping type thing, where you're selling things that you don't even own or have. You're just on selling wholesale goods. Like, there's a lot of things you can do, but yeah. Your 5x5 Pete sound, good video, excellent. Hey, Modern Retro, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you here. Being genuine is important, I think. And that's really all that's all I think you've got these days. I watched a video the other day, and I should have had the link. Whenever I watch a video and I'm like, I'll talk about that. I'll see if I can find it here real quick, because it was about the fact that the internet is dead. And can I find it? The internet dead? No. So there was a video. I'll try and find it anyway, and I'll share it at some stage over on Create, Record, Release. But it basically talked about the fact, this dead internet theory. Excuse me, sorry. And it basically said that these days, like the old internet, and I know Jade and I have chatted about this before, the old internet, like think old internet, think BBSs, and then think early internet of things like MySpace, and think of websites on, what was the spaces that you used to have, you know, the ones I can never remember off the top of my head. No, it's not coming to me. Tripod and Lycos and all those sort of sites that people had. You know, we had your counters, and you had your little man digging a hole. They were very much about personal expression. They were very much more about creativity and artistic and human connection and community and all that rest. Well, I mean, there were still the trolls out there, and there was still the negativity. But it is very much a corporate internet now. Like, we are all, like, you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook, and you know, you're being served an algorithm. If you're watching this show, there might be something shiny and flashing in the corner that wants you to go and pay attention to it. Or maybe you're scrolling through your phone on your Instagram. That's all being controlled not by people, but by machines. And the whole concept of this is that the internet now is actually dead. It doesn't have a pulse. It is just machines. And like, we're heading towards the Terminator. We're heading towards Skynet and the whole Judgment Day stuff, because it's not about people interacting with people anymore. However, just like I said at the start of the show, just like my opinion on the whole, is music just about merch and money and marketing, or the three M's, M and M, or is there actually still artistic creativity and integrity? I think that there's both. And I think that any time that you have a movement or a culture, you have a counter movement or a counter culture. And I think that's what I'm seeing in terms of the sort of groups that I run in. Because I watched this video and I thought, that sounds nothing like the people I hang out with. But that's because I ignore the algorithms. I don't actually follow very many people on social media. I'm a pull social media user, not a push social media user. So I will go into the groups I want to go into and just sort them by newest. And yeah, the algorithm can still have, you know, its teeth in there and push things in front of me. And YouTube has a massive algorithm that pushes things in front of people. But I think that if you can find ways to block some of that push internet and those notifications, well, I have 0 notifications on, and I will never tell you to ring the bell and turn on notifications. You can, if that's your bag and you choose to, but I don't think in the entire time I've been doing this channel I've ever said it. Don't forget to ring the bell and turn on notifications and make sure that you're always subscribed. And for the main reason that I don't do it. I don't want my phone cluttered with bing, bing, bing. Someone's messaging you, bing, bing, bing. There's a video that you might want to watch, bing, bing, bing. With very few exceptions. Like, my family want to get hold of me, it goes bing. Outside of that, sorry, it doesn't. I schedule my time and I go and pull out what I want. Whew, it's rant-tacular here tonight. I apologize for that. Yeah, like the t-shirt. Yeah, I was trying to get my my 90s grunge going on. I just want a graphics card. Death to Bitcoin. Yeah. Can you buy graphics cards at the moment? Yeah, I did. I got my video capture card. Yeah, thankfully, because there's still plenty of them. It's literally called like Shenzi Tech. Like, it's like, we made this straight out of Shenzhen. And I should have set up my other camera so that you could actually see my setup here. But what I can do though, because I'm using StreamYard and OBS together at last. In fact, let's jump into that, because I want to talk about this. So we'll come over here. So what I'm using now is, if we share my screen, So I've got two different setups here, and I'll show you why this is confusing in a moment. So I'm sharing my screen here in StreamYard, and it's going to pop that over there. So this is how I normally use StreamYard. I've got my webcam here, and then I've got that going on there. But what's actually controlling my camera and all of the other ability to show my screens is this. I'm actually running OBS Studio, and you can see here, this is the virtual camera. So it's like, we're going to get a bit Inception here, but I can actually run the virtual camera here, and it means that, careful, this is going to do that whole weird windowing thing when I actually put this here. But I can share my screen because I can do this, and whoa, it's going to go, and I'm going to be over the other side as well. And I've also now got, because Jade reminded me that, hey, you should probably just use an HDMI capture card and output your iPad instead of using the very unreliable Wi-Fi reflector software I was using before. I've now got the ability to do that with this one here. So there's me with that screen, and I'll take that off here because this is basically a program that runs in the background. You can see there it's got virtual camera running, and all I do is set up all your scenes here. I thought it would take me a long time. It didn't take me that long at all. It's actually quite a lot easier. When I first used OBS, it took a really long time, but they've improved it significantly. It's a lot more drag and drop kind of features. Well, we need to go there. It's a lot more intuitive than it was back in the day. So I'm happy with all of that, and I'm happiest with the fact that I can have this here. So I've got my iPad just here via HDMI at all times. You've got an ego that drives me so crazy. And I'll take you through that song in a moment because it's getting pretty exciting. And this is the Creator Town Hall, so surely I can talk about a song that I'm creating at the moment in case you missed the other shows that we've been doing about that. Ron Ward has the coolest life ever. He has an interesting life. He lives over there in Ho Chi Minh City with his family and his kids. He speaks Vietnamese. It's amazing stuff. It's very, very cool. We're currently experiencing a monster thunderstorm. So much thunder and lightning. It's very, very frightening. Me, Galileo, Galileo. Yeah, we had that last night. We sent it over to you, Jade. It was here last night. It was pretty loud. Galileo. Yeah, sorry, Ron. I know it got a little bit sort of down the rabbit hole there for a moment. It was a little bit weird. Graphics cards do not exist in Perth. No. Yeah. Okay. And this is the problem. Like, we've got a lot of supply shortages. Look, I won't go into a big giant rant about supply shortages because that's a whole different topic for a different time. And that's actually really interesting. If you've ever studied any of the Toyota, the just-in-time manufacturing, the Toyota manufacturing methodologies, really interesting stuff. Basically, if you don't know, the quick version of it is that Toyota, like prior to Toyota, Ford and a lot of the other big car companies were just mass producing. They would go, right, today we're making Ford Falcons, that's an Australian thing, but today we're making Ford Taurus, and then tomorrow we're making Ford something else. And they would just crank out masses of cars so that there was always this abundance of supply of cars. Meanwhile, in Japan, Toyota had developed this just-in-time manufacturing where they basically, it's a bit like the shipping that we have now for t-shirts and things. If you order some merchandise, there's not a warehouse full of 10 double XLs and 10 XLs and 10 mediums. More often than not, that's going to be printed on demand. And that's kind of what the just-in-time manufacturing was. Now, that's great, except when there's supply chain issues. So the reason that we're seeing problems with a lot of different products right now is that the supply chain is just so challenged for a bunch of reasons, for illness of workers, for reduction in truck drivers, for problems with shipping cargoes not being able to be done, with massive increases in supply, massive increases in the logistical transportation of products and that sort of thing. So yeah, there's a whole lot that goes into that. But it is interesting that, like most things, we thought we were so smart with the whole just-in-time model, but everyone implemented it to like that razor thin margins to the point where they didn't have enough of the stuff. And I was hearing a story the other day that it was something like heated steering wheels or heated seats. Like there was some particular Toyota that normally would have these heated steering wheel cover or something. And they're just like, no, that one chip that does the heating of the steering wheel doesn't exist. This car no longer has heated steering wheel. Like it was that weird because they had every other part, but this one part that they couldn't get in. It was a complete S storm. Is a real guitar amp better than an amp simulator for producing guitar? For practicing guitar? It's a good question. I'm going to throw it out here to the general populace here because I I use a guitar amp simulator for pretty much everything now. Like I don't plug into a real amp unless I'm plugging into my Roland, and that's usually just my acoustic when I'm playing somewhere else. So I've got the Roland Cube Street, which is like my performing amp. I plug my mic and my guitar into that. If I'm playing electric, like I was on the song that you just heard a moment ago, then I'm using amp simulators. I'm using Tonebridge, that's the wrong button. I'm using Tonebridge, or I'm using the GarageBand Amp Sims, or I'm using something else there. Now, does that mean it's better, worse, or whatever? I don't know. I think if and correct me if I'm wrong here, Jade Star, but the Spark amp from Positive Grid is probably kind of your best of both worlds kind of thing, because this is like a mix between the two. This is an amp, but it also connects up to your devices, so you can either use it as and play your guitar through it, and then you can actually hook it up to your phone or your iPad, and you can get all of the different cool amp sims and cabinets and all the different modeling that you can get from a virtual amp without having to go to a whole bunch of effort and run a whole bunch of software. So I don't own one, but apparently they're super cool and worth a look. But for me, in 2022, I'm not plugging in an amp if I'm just going to try and practice my electric guitar. I'm just going to plug in. And the cool thing is you can, in the click of a button. So for instance, I'll give you a quick demo here. So I've got this guitar. There's like 4 guitar tracks in this one at the moment. There's a lead guitar and 3 rhythm guitars. So I wanted to dial in some different guitar tones. So this one I used the Nembrini Black and Crunk. But this one, I just threw Tonebridge on here, and I'm like, I want a bit of a Weezer kind of tone. So I threw a Weezer tone on there, and I'm done. And on this one, I'm like, I want a bit of a Nirvana tone, and I threw a Nirvana tone on there, and done. And you get to ring them together, and they sound pretty cool. There's that Nembrini, the Weezer tone, and a bit of Nirvana up the guts. So, I think amp sims have come a long way. If you used amp sims way back in the day and you're like, no, I don't think they're good quality, yeah, I think they've come a long way. Just my 2 cents there. Derek says, I've recently deactivated my private Facebook and Instagram pages. With YouTube, I carefully sub to only the things I like or value, but no notifications. I would not expect anyone to sub to me either. Yeah, and look, without going off on another tangent, another rant, I know different people are different. And here's the thing. I think, Derek, you and I are reasonably similar in that we don't like being all out there. We don't like, I mean, it sounds weird to say that I'm a quiet, private, introverted person. You wouldn't think so. But I don't like having a whole bunch of stuff in my space. Whereas I know that a lot of people don't mind that so much. They'll happily have a whole bunch of stuff. It makes them feel good to get a lot of notifications and things through. And I know with the whole subscription thing and subscribing to people, some people like me just think that, hey, you should do it if you dig someone. I don't like the whole sub for sub and follow for follow and like for like sort of that happens a lot these days. It doesn't work. It usually breaches terms of service, and it just seems a bit sleazy. But I've also learned, it's taken me a while, it's taken me 42 years. I've also learned that not everyone's like me. And not everyone thinks like me, not everyone acts like me, not everyone has the same values that I do. So I also can't just paint everyone with my own brush, because I'm a bit of a weird dude sometimes, and sometimes I'm very passionate about things, and then I go and ask my wife, and I'm like, isn't it frustrating when you're watching a YouTube video and there's a mid-roll ad? And she's like, oh, I don't care. Like, that's how they make their money. I don't begrudge them. If you're watching for 2 minutes and there's an ad, fair enough. But if I'm watching for 10 minutes and they throw an ad in the middle and then I watch another 10 minutes, that's fine. And I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe I'll put mid-roll ads in. And the same that exact thing, I didn't run mid-roll ads. I went and asked the community. Something like 87% of people said, we don't care, Pete. Throw an ad in every now and then in the middle of a show. We'll watch it. And then we know that helps support you. It's cool. I'm like, oh, okay. I'd assume that everyone thought the same way that I do, which is not the case. There you go. OBS with StreamYard. Never thought about it. Yeah, it seems to be working pretty well. Playing live. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that use iPhones and iPads for live guitar rigs. It's actually pretty cool. And yeah, especially if it had the Spark amp, it would definitely be an easy way to go. Didn't know you could use OBS and StreamYard together. Yeah, you totally can. Absolutely. Supply process and manufacturing, my secret passion. So you've probably learned all about the Toyota just-in-time manufacturing. I read a book about it a while back. I can't remember. It's got like a Japanese name of the principle, but I can't remember that far in. If you're wearing headphones, go simulator. Jade loves her Spark. absolutely. Sim amp doesn't really affect practice. Sim should be better because sparks more ideas with the sounds. Yeah, exactly, and it just helps me to have more things there. Let's see. I'll just see. Where are you demoing the acoustic? When are you demoing the acoustic amp, Jade? There you go. I haven't done it as the only one available here in Oz. I'm doing a live performance in Melbourne. There you go. Cool. And then review it afterwards. Excellent. Using it in the real world. That good old real world. Nothing like a real gig to test out the gear. We share the more. I know more at a good hairstyle. I'm going a bit long here at the moment. I need to get some attention on this bad boy. I read that book for management at uni years ago. Yeah, I think a lot of people read about the whole Toyota story. I think there was a Harvard Business Review article that was really popular because I think everyone doing an MBA or everyone studying management in any industry all read this one Harvard Business Review article. And then, like everything, we produce an army of clones who all think the same and dress the same and act the same and do the same. And it's all good and fun until it's not. We've got some action going on here live. Why don't I close off this close off this poll, and I'll see what folks that have been here live actually think about it. Because you've shared your views, which is cool. But what do we think? We're going to end the poll. Ooh. So there you go. We've just closed off the poll, and it looks like a very large proportion of you believe that yes, indeed, music is more about marketing. In fact, 82% and 17% say no. 82% say music in 2022 has become more about marketing, merch, apps, and gear than art and creativity, which I guess is not surprising. But hopefully, even those of you that said yes, it is, realize, or if you haven't realized, then you will eventually find your groups, find your tribes, find people that do like the same sort of stuff that you do, that are into the same sort of music you are, and that you can actually have conversations with about music. It can be a balance. I honestly think that. And I think that, like I say, whenever you look at it and you're like, oh no, the culture has gone this way, there's always a counterculture. Look at mullets and moustaches. 10 years ago, if you saw someone with like shaved side head and a big long mullet or a rat's tail and a moustache, you'd be like, wow, that dude never made it out of the 80s. And now you look around at all these kids with their mullets and their moustaches, and it's popular again. But guess what? There will be a counterculture to that, of people that will probably start having, short back and sides and wear suits again and stuff. Like, there is always a counterculture to the culture. It just rotates. And there are people that just want to be contrarian. They just want to be different from the mainstream. And as soon as the mainstream catch up and everyone's got mullets and moustaches, don't worry, I couldn't grow a mullet if I wanted to, then they have to go and do something else. And that's cool. If that's the way they want to roll, more power to them. Ron says, I still strive to keep the creativity at the core of it, balance with the business side of it. Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be that way. iOS 15.3 just dropped today. There you go. Is there anything good in iOS 15.3? Should we check the release notes? Since we've got, what have we got, about 10 minutes here? Apple iOS 15.3. I must admit, I've been so uninspired by the last couple of iOS updates. There's just nothing. Even the whole iOS 15 update gave me virtually nothing. What does Apple Insider have to say about this? Let's jump over here. They say, look at all these ads. I hope we get some funny ads here. It's not going to be like doctors are furious about this new pill that makes you... Anyway. Fingerprinting bugs. So it looks like bugs and feature improvement. Like, yeah, there's nothing here. Supported device for the updaters. Yeah, no, there's literally nothing. Bug fixes, but I guess if it's bug fixes, it'll be okay. We'll do that. Hey, Andy Goldsby. It's Andy Goldsby, everyone, from the Indigo Sunsets. I hope you're well, my friend. I'm still a bit freaked out with these two different things. They worked at Holden's, yeah. We had a big Holden factory here in Australia, in Adelaide, in fact, and we had a Mitsubishi factory in Adelaide, and both of them are shut down. No more manufacturing of cars in Australia, because, we were not very efficient. And, that's just the way it goes in a free market. Free market until they fail, and then the government bails them out. Yeah, Do you wish? I want that to be the same for YouTube channels. If I create a new YouTube channel and then it fails in the first year, I want to go to the government and say, but the algorithm changed and the market changed and I wasn't getting my results. And they'll be like, okay, we'll bail you out just this once. I've been running that for a while without issues. I'm in the beta program for Apple Gear. There you go. So 15.3 seems to be okay. Yeah, security updates and bug fixes. So, yeah, I'd rather have fixes than features. You know what? Sometimes I would. It's weird. It's like better the devil you know. Because I think about this a lot. I'm like, what feature am I waiting for iOS? I would actually love the next feature to just be, we're not going to change anything for a year. Well, wouldn't that be cool if Tim Cook gets up there and goes, today we have something very special to announce. We are not introducing any new products, any new features. We are just going to make everything work first time, every time. And Pete Johns cannot do any accents anymore. Thank you and have a great day. Do you reckon? Wouldn't that be the best? Or is that just me? Kenora says, originally from Adelaide. Yeah, so sad when Holden and Mitsubishi closed. Yeah, I know. A lot of people that lost, as do I. I know a lot of people that worked in the Holden and Mitsubishi factories, and it's just sad. Jay's talking about the Mitsubishi logos that were on things. Did you see the John Safran thing about the fact that they were using logos on pills in clubs? And if you haven't ever seen, I reckon that they're all on YouTube now. John Safran's Music Jamboree. John Safran is a comedian and just awesome sort of commentator, author, does a lot of everything. And there's a show, if you've never watched it before, it's all about the music industry. We'll have to, yeah, here they are. Look, you can get all the episodes here. Sorry, it's probably not the official way to do it, but I don't think you can buy it anywhere. Otherwise, I'd suggest you buy it somewhere. But once you do this, you'll go and like subscribe to John Safran and all of his stuff. But yeah, watch all of these, because one of the episodes, he basically goes in, yeah, look, there's a whole playlist of all 10 episodes. Look at that. You're golden. And they're like 23, 24 minutes each. So they're like regular sort of half-hour show. But there was one where he went to a radio station. And he's like, oh, the kids at the nightclubs, they've got these pills. And he said, oh, and they've got the radio station logo on them. And he was talking to this like super right-wing, shock jock radio personality guy. Like, oh, that's terrible. They shouldn't do that. You bring them down here. Like, it was absolute classic. So yeah, go and check out John Safran and Music Jamboree. You won't be disappointed. Do yourself a favor. All right. We got about 8 minutes to go. What do they have left on the list? I think we've covered off on everything I wanted to talk about. Where's my banners? Yeah, I think we have. So look, we won't go into details about like the live streaming platforms that we have, except to say that I'm at the moment using both StreamYard and Restream. They both have free plans. If you're getting started, try them both out. They have slightly different features. I'm leaning towards StreamYard just for a couple of things. One, which is a tool, the StreamYard giveaway tool that we started using and we started testing out last week on the Your Music Live, but then we had the issues with the internets, which we've resolved. By the way, this is a weird one. I don't know if it was the issue because I'm still a bit dubious about it all, but the way I solved the issue that we had last week was I raised a ticket with StreamYard Help Desk, and they said, oh, have you got a wide internet connection? Have you got, I'm like, yeah, it's all good. I've got reliable 10 megabit up internet, wired, we're all good. And then they're like, oh, and have you cleared your cache and cookies? I'm like, Google Chrome is a bit of a B word, and I haven't done that since I got this MacBook Pro, which I've had for, 3 months. Okay, I'll play your game, StreamYard. I'll clear my cache and cookies. Haven't had a dropout since. Not one. So, hey, if it was a placebo and it was nothing to do with that, oh well, it worked and we're back. So, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Yeah, don't forget Rockin' Ronnie Ward is up next with GBU Live. In fact, why don't we go over there and we'll check out, because I'm going to tell you about all of the shows that we've got on here over the weekend. So I'll also include Rockin' Ronnie Ward and GBU Live, because, all of us are Ron ready, right? Yeah. So what's going on this weekend? Well, today we looked at how to arrange a song in GarageBand iOS. That was this song here that we'll go out by playing you the current mix of this one. Drums not done yet, but Jade tells me that they're on their way because she's an epic drummer. But yeah, we'll play that out on the show here today. So we did that today. Tomorrow, this is what you're looking at right now, live streaming 101. Tomorrow I am on the Fix My Mix edition with Jade Starr and Mike over at Creative Source, so you can jump over and grab that one. Oh, and by the way, all of these are on my playlist, which I'll jump in the chat here now for those. It is also linked down in the description if you're watching this one on the replay and you missed this one live. Don't worry, catch me with Mike and Jade, which will be at a better time. If you're in US and Canadian, it's a better time for you there. We've then got Your Music Live at its usual time, 6:30 a.m. me for Sunday morning, and that's 12 p.m. LA time, 3 p.m. New York time, and 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. They've got a happy hour doing some flying songs. Come fly with me, let's fly away. We've then got GarageBand Weekly, episode 111. Right? And then we've got some fun stuff happening early next week, on the 1st of February. No, is that right? Yeah, it's in US backwards time dates. So we've got the 6-year celebration. And that's actually happening straight after Jade Starr's doing 500 episodes of How to App on iOS. And there you go. Jade also has a show before Fix Your Mix. So Jade will be at her usual time or a bit later, Jade, by the looks of it. But yeah, check your guides, check your local guides for details there. And because I've just found this out today, Ron Ward is going live with GBU Live. And it looks like that's coming up pretty soon. Is that this one here? GBU Live, that looks like it. Look at him. Popeye the Sailor Man. We're going to like it, and we're going to share this link over here for you as well here. So, if you want some more musical goodness, jump on over to Rockin' Ronnie Ward and enjoy that one. All right, I'm pretty much done here, but what I wanted to do is I'll give you you can be the first people. I've been working, I've re-recorded a couple of parts here. I've started doing some basic static mixing, and we've got together my song here. So this is it's called Toxic Ego. It's my January 2022 song, and it's my attempt to get back to my roots, back to what I love, which is guitar driven, distorted, rockin' 90s style, grungy, punky goodness. So we'll go out with this one here tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. I always enjoy this one. Thanks for bearing with me with all the rants, and thanks for all of your contributions. And let's take a listen to this one. Get ready to rock with Toxic Ego, the first rough mix, drum free, just the regular GarageBand drummers that will be replaced. Don't you worry about that. I'll see you next time, folks. Bye for now.
You've got an ego that drives me so crazy, but I just don't know how to quit. You think it's okay to treat me like a baby, and I just put up with it. It's the final time, I've just had enough of your arrogance and all the other stuff. Wonder if you know what the others say, or even if you care. I don't think you do, 'cause you've got an ego that drives me so crazy, but I just don't know how to quit. You think it's okay to treat me like a baby, and I just put up with it. You treat the others like they don't even matter, and you're just the star of the show. One day I'm hoping you're gonna learn your lesson, 'cause you got a toxic ego.
cowbell.
You think it's okay to treat me like a baby, and I just put up with it. You treat the others like they don't even matter, and you're just the star of the show. One day I'm hoping you're gonna learn your lesson, 'cause you got a toxic ego. Oh no, oh no.
Oh no. Oh yeah. More cowbell. And I did fade my own solo. Thanks everyone for being here. Jump on over to Rock and Ronnie Ward right now. I'll see you there. Thanks for being cool. Remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, keep creating, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.